Welcome to Karen's ISO Book Show, where I give away free books. Today I'm dressed as Erin, Outback Girl from Rainshaker, a picture book about climate change. I have exciting news. Today I interviewed the book creator, Elizabeth Mary Cummings. She's an acclaimed child empowerment author. She created this very imaginative story called Rainshaker with the illustrator, Cheri Hughes. Now, Elizabeth has qualifications in psychology and a Master's of Education. She created many successful picture books and junior fiction, as well as award-winning poetry. Her stories often take a child's perspective to explain the world and reflect on important life experiences, including themes of resilience, grief, empowerment, anti-bullying, and mental health. Together, Elizabeth and Cheri created the picture book Forever Kid, published by Big Sky Publishing. Do you have that book here today, Elizabeth?
I do.
Excellent.
This was our first creation together with Big Sky, and it was a very touching and beautiful story.
Oh, I forgot to give you your warm welcome. I better do that now as well. Let's give Elizabeth a very warm welcome.
Thank you. Lovely to be with you, Karen. I watch your show and your channel and follow you on social media, and I'm so impressed and I'm very touched that you wanted to interview me. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you very much. We have much in common. I mean, we're both educators and interested in mental health. So that's a big reason why I wanted to interview you. I have a few questions. Can I ask you a few questions about your book today, please?
Absolutely. Please fire ahead.
Okay, here we go. Elizabeth, what's Rainshaker about?
Well, Rainshaker is a whimsical picture book with an important message. So I have a real penchant for talking about big issues, everything from bereavement to mental health issues to loss and grief, as you have mentioned before. And again, this is a big issue, climate change, a massive issue. However, the thing in this book is it is set in the outback of Australia, and through the eyes of protagonist Erin, we enjoy a joyous and wondrous journey of her investigation and determination to grow some sunflowers in what was a very strong drought climate for her at the time. So big issues, but set in a fun and child-friendly way for a storybook that one can read again and again for the mere pleasure or delve deeper into the issue of climate change.
Excellent. Can you see my sunflower in the background there? A bit of a prop.
I was very impressed, and I've got my two little sunflowers on.
Oh, you have two?
I do. This were a gift from a dear friend who is very impressed with the sunflower theme, and yeah, everything's coming up sunflowers.
I love sunflowers as well. Now, another question. What inspired you to write Rainshaker?
Right, well, the story's seed, excuse the pun, goes back many years. I have two adult daughters, but when they were little, we would have weekly phone calls back to our parents, my parents and my husband's parents in the UK. And their parents lived in Scotland and Ireland, and both these countries are known for their wild and often wet weather. And so the girls would talk to grandparents and say, we've got this hot weather here, and Gran and Gramps would say, actually, it's raining here, and it's been raining for days. And there was this whole conversation about the lack of sharing of the weathers, and we could do with a bit more rain, and they could do with a bit more sun. So the little seed for the story was tucked away there in my writerly brain. And over time, it has developed. So it was one of those slow burn stories. It wasn't like a flash where the Forever Kid was, where the story came to me in the middle of the night and it was all there. It kind of grew from that. And it was going to be a conversation between grandparent and child over the phone. And then I felt it needed to be more central to where the drought setting was, and to really place the child at the center of the story. And that give the chance to give an empowerment to that child. So Erin, strong female protagonist, yay, and set in Australian outback landscape, wonderful, beautiful landscape, in troubled times, in the drought, and she's going to make a difference, and she's determined, and she has that self-belief and that hope. And that's what we love about children, isn't it? That they have that real naivety, but yet through that comes some wonderful ideas and creativity and self-belief. And that's what I dearly love about this book, and that's the background.
And that's what I love about your book too. I've read it several times, and there's so much sort of in-depth insight into the character, into her thought processes. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay. How is Rainshaker different to other books on climate change, especially picture books?
Right. So in terms of climate change, it is an important issue, and it's an issue that many creators wish to touch on, and there are some lovely books out there, too many to name, and they all have their own angle, and that's equally important. For me, what I wanted to create with Rainshaker was a story that did have these issues, as I said, but was firmly based on the concept of storytelling for the pleasure of story itself. So whilst Rainshaker has these facts and these great ties to the curriculum, and at the back we have facts and how to grow your own sunflower, so a bit of call to action and a bit of inspiration for activity, especially now in COVID with a lot of homeschooling. Yeah. And that was in place prior to COVID, so it's just fortuitous that we had that already there. But it does have that, but this is a book that people want to read time and time again, because the story itself about family life, about a child's hope, and about the sort of dream and possibility that she sees, and the magic in that. There's a little element of magical realism, a tiny touch, and it all stems from Erin and her own self. And there is a very slight, there's a Christmas theme, but it's not a Christmas themed book. So the action takes place because of unpacking the Christmas decorations, and that's in that there. But obviously the setting is about the farm and the drought.
I'm actually writing a book about the drought and climate change as well.
Wow, it's such an important topic. There can't be enough books.
I've been writing it now for, I don't know how long, it's been over a year, and I hope to bring it out next year.
And is that a novel?
Yes, it's a novel. I mainly write novels these days, and with an occasional picture book.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. What's your Cheri first. Cheri's illustrations. How did they enhance the story?
Oh, well, as you know, Cheri Hughes and I collaborated and met through this book and through our wonderful publishers at Big Sky Publishing. And I had been aware of Cheri's work before, because she's worked on Robert Vesquio's books and on Katrina McKelvey's books, and those authors, again, like me, have real heart in their stories and deal with their issues in a beautiful narrative form. So I had confidence when I was told it was Cheri, and I was intrigued, and we just connected over Forever Kid and formed this beautiful friendship bond. So when I heard that Cheri had been asked to do Rainshaker, I was just delighted. She just brings another level to it. I don't know if you noticed that Mum is pregnant in the story.
No, I didn't actually.
And that's a lovely motif.
Go back and have another look.
That wasn't my idea. This was the illustrator's idea, and it's all about new growth and hope for the future. And you know, a pregnant mother is just a wonderful sign of that. And actually, it very subtly ties in with a Christmas theme, doesn't it? So very, very clever use of illustrations. And the other thing about her work is Erin's personality is so strong throughout this book, and it's captured in I'm holding it the wrong way, in the sort of imagery she has of this child who's always acting, always doing, is always busy. So this action is shown, and she's just got clever illustrative ways. You can't really see it here, but little squiggles and so on that show Erin's thoughts, and it's very clever, very, very clever.
Extremely, yeah. A very deep book in a lot of ways, lots of levels.
Yes.
me see. What's your positive message for children?
Positive, so much. Firstly, it's a gratitude that we have these young people in our world. And my positive message is, if they can teach me something, then that's a blessing for me. And I want them to always know that they are the future, and that their ideas and their visions are so important, and they deserve and need and have the right to be heard. And hopefully through narratives like I write, or that you write, particularly in the area of anti-bullying, messages of how children can be resilient and how what they feel matters, and their diverse and individual perspective is important. So kids out there, you are important, you matter, and you're the future.
Yes,
Thank
you. I agree, 100%. Would you like to show us your favourite page, and perhaps you might like to read it?
What a treat. There's so much. Of course, every page Cheri creates for me is a favourite. There's a couple of things I'm quite proud of. If I may do a sentence from one page and then read my favourite page where the pictures and words come together.
That sounds great.
I was quite proud of the way I started the book, because I felt that it just jumped right in, you know, there's no backstory, just right into Erin watching and waiting for her sunflowers. And I wanted this evocative feel of that oppressive heat and stillness and waiting. So I wrote the initial manuscript and I stripped away text to have it quite stark. And that, I guess, reflected the way the landscape was. So Dad's pulling into the driveway, sun dazzling on metal, heat rising, steaming, shimmering, blinding. The birds too thirsty to sing, the cattle too hot in the shade. I was quite proud of the kind of poetic aspect of that, because I felt it really captured, you know, even the animals couldn't do what they were meant to. And the ground's not growing or being fertile as it's meant to. So there's this whole sort of hiatus, this sort of waiting period. So that's one thing I was proud of. And here is my favorite page, because Erin, after having her rain dance, the rain comes and she goes to bed feeling she's created the rain by dancing, and her little mind is full of these beautiful dreams. So Cheri has translated that. Before I read, I'll point it out. She's translated it that Erin's imagination has created her to be a, you know, a water person. Can you see her?
Yes.
Yes, her tail there. And the fish scales become fish that become leaves, that become up high up in the sky into the bird's feathers. And as it goes through to the next picture, they become the petals of the sunflower, and they rush her out of her dream back to reality. And that was so clever.
It is so clever.
This is the little piece of writing that goes with it.
It's gorgeous.
That night in bed, Erin listens to the rain she made, her rain. Her dreams are filled with streams where animals sip, rivers where magnificent boats sail, and oceans filled with the most splendid fish she has ever seen. Erin is a soaring bird, touching the clouds, making the rain fall, and the sunflowers grow.
That is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
I'm glad you chose that page. One of my favourites too.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'd like to read, not so much a page, but the blurb at the back of the book. I love the blurbs, and they capture the essence of the story. And then I have a little surprise for you. Something I want to show you. Anyway, I'll read the back cover blurb first. I may have to get my glasses just for a moment. Okay, let me see if I can. Yes, that's better now.
As well.
Okay, when Erin finds a snow shaker, she embarks on a magical journey of possibility in a world of droughts and floods. Where water won't behave, Erin's imagination shakes things up and shows her she can help make a better world. Isn't that beautiful? That's such an enticing blurb. I'd like to show you my own rain shaker, or my own rain. Yes. It actually belongs to my daughter, so I fished it in her room last night. I don't know. Oh. Have you seen this sort of thing before?
Yes, yes.
Just listen to this.
You're giving me ideas now.
Doesn't it sound like rain?
It does, it does.
I'll just move back in. Okay, well, let's see if I can concentrate now and go back to the rest of the questions. Elizabeth, can you please share 2 tips for writing picture books? Just 2 sort of key ideas.
Firstly, if you have an idea, get it down on paper. It doesn't need to be polished or special. Get it down, because they've got a little tricky habit of floating around and tucking themselves in another filing cabinet in your brain. And then 3 years later, you come back to it and you go, why did I forget about that thing? Or I can't remember that thing. So do get it down. Doesn't matter what you get it down on, your phone, your scrap of paper, use a lipstick if you're out for dinner. Just get it down and it's there. And like with Forever Kid, I woke up at 2 in the morning. The whole story was there. I had to get it down on paper, even though, you know, I was in trouble for waking the house up and banging about to find pens and paper. Second tip, set yourself in a place where you can be in that moment when you're writing. Give yourself that space. So it might not be always your office, it might be sitting in your garden, it might be down at the beach, it might be up on your bed. I don't know where you might find. If you're in that space at that time, just be in that space and allow yourself to sit with those thoughts of your book and your creative thinking and get them down. Can I give another half tip?
A half, yes.
Okay, so once you've got things down, when you go back to it, because obviously you're not doing it all at one go, always read what you've just done before you start new, because I think that really helps you get into the zone again, pick up where you left off.
That's excellent. Thank you very much for all those tips. Okay, let me see. Where can readers find teacher notes? Because teachers always want to know that.
They can. Well, they can find them on Big Sky Publishing website. They can find them on elizabethmarycummings.com website. And those are the 2 main places where you will find them. So link on there. And of course, the book itself can be found at all good bookshops.
Excellent. That's exactly what I want to hear and what everyone wants to hear, because nothing like be able to find the book you really want to read.
That's right. That's right. And if they've got it out of stock because so many have been sold, which has happened, then you just ask them to get it in for you. And also, you know, your libraries, support your local library, go in there, request a copy. I've been touring all around New South Wales and going into every rural library and up to Byron Bay, down to Broken Hill, Wagga, everywhere. And librarians are excited about the book. They're requesting the book through acquisitions and they're getting the book on their shelves. So there are copies out there for those of you who aren't able to buy a book from a bookshop.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, well, I'd like to thank you very much, Elizabeth, today for the interview.
Thank you for having me. Really enjoyed spending time with you again, Karen.
Same here. Wonderful. Wonderful to hear the background, the story behind the story. Elizabeth, if you could just stay there for a moment, I'm just going to talk to my followers, readers, watchers, and tell them about the book giveaway. Okay? Yep. All right. Who would like to win a signed copy of Rain Shaker? It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Number 1, subscribe to Karen Tyrrell author channel just here. Number 2, comment on why you want to win Rain Shaker. And number 3, the winner will be announced in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, you might like to join in if you can. I know you're holding your puppy, but maybe join in spirit. Meanwhile, please stay safe. Wash your hands. Keep your social distance and read, read, read. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.